Good. Yep, yes, getting ready to go. Wrong tab. Check. Oh, yep, that looks like we're live. Means I should be able to get chat window up. Is my voice coming through okay? I haven't changed any settings since I last stream, so everything should still be going fine. Hello, hello. It has been a wee while, and by a wee while, a week and a half nearly, since I last streamed. Feels like a while. Kind of was a while. No, just stuff's been going on in life that's kind of had my social anxiety flaring up a bit. And it was especially bad last week. And with everything else going on, I kind of needed my evenings to myself. So I had to put streaming on hold. And if you haven't seen my previous the post I made, I will only be streaming now on Wednesdays, Fridays and Saturdays for at least the next month or so, just to see if this calms down any, because I feel like it'll be much easier and much more likely to burn myself out with everything else going on in life at the minute. But yep, here we are, back in Eorzea with Sorin, ready to continue our journey into the patch 2.3 quests, I believe. Defenders of Eorzea. Last we left off, we just finished up the Through the Maelstrom quests. And yes, it was Through the Maelstrom. And then we finished up the hard Primal trials, which we will need for later. I don't think you can proceed on to Heavensward without doing those trials. But anyway, last the main story had left off, Minfilia had just received word from Eorzea about the students of Baldesion, and that their island of Val was destroyed by something very closely resembling the Ultima magic. Also, I remembered, you should change the language back to English. Not that I've actually been playing much Final Fantasy the last week or two. A lot of time I've been too distracted even to play most games unless I've got friends on. Right. Okay. Back into character. It's been a wee while. Apologies if there's any more inconsistencies or such. Miss Minfilia? How are you holding up? Hear any more news? Our friends. The very isle itself. Everyone and everything. No, it avails us not to speculate. Eorzea will send word if there are any developments. Until such time as he does, we must remain firmly focused on that which is within our power to change. With that in mind, I would speak of a different matter, one closer to home. What do you need, ma'am? It concerns etheric fluctuations which we had previously attributed to good King Mogulmoctus XII. That the king is no more is a blessing for which we have you to thank. Yet all is not well in the Twelveswood. Our latest readings reveal an ongoing etheric disturbance of considerable magnitude. They may even suggest the presence of a primal. And needless to say, the mere possibility warrants immediate investigation, and I would have you... Cilia, I do not wish to interrupt, but we have a problem. What manner of problem? A band of refugees, hailing from Ul'dah this time, are come to Revenant's Toll seeking asylum. It would seem to expect us to afford them the same treatment we give to Domans. At present they are in the 7th heaven, awaiting a formal response. I see. Mayhap this was to be expected. I shall meet with them at once. Cilia, you know full well we haven't the resources to accommodate many more people. Consider what will happen if you do this. Word will spread, and more will follow. Your opinion is duly noted, but I will hear their suit. Sorin, I should be grateful for your presence at this meeting. If you think it'll help, ma'am. entirely sure how much help I can be, but I'll do my best. Seventh Heaven. That's the name of the tavern out the front, isn't it? Hello there. Miss Minfilia? I apologize for keeping you waiting. My name is Minfilia, and I lead the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. 12 be praised, it is you! We're ready and willing to work, same as the Domans. Just give us a task and we'll see it done. Pray, calm yourselves. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I know naught of your situation. Beg your pardon, Antecedent. I ain't so good with words. We've been living off the scraps of Ul'dah for years now, trying to piece together a life to replace the one what got took. They say there's work, but there's not for an honest man. Not as wouldn't sully his soul sooner than his palms any road. The flames do what they can for us, of course, but it ain't near enough. It's only getting worse. When the calamity brought us to our knees, those rich bastards in the city didn't help us. They climbed on our backs. Now, I don't pretend to be clever, but even I can see what's coming. I knew we had to run. The only question was where. And then it came to me. Reverend Saul. I mean, you took them foreigners in, didn't you? So you'd surely do the same for us. I fear the situation is rather more complicated. While it is true that we accepted the Doman's petition for aid, that decision was the product of extraordinary circumstances. I sympathize deeply with your plight, but pray understand that it is not possible for an organization of our means to aid all who have been affected by the calamity. So it was with great regret that I must deny your request. But we've nowhere else to go. You're turning your back on us? If I might have a word. Miss Tutteru? Tutteru, is all amiss? Is aught amiss? Ill tidings from Ul'dah, my lady. Alphino has been wounded. Alphino has? What? How? Is it serious? What was Alphino doing in Ul'dah that would get him? I cannot say for certain, but I fear it might be. According to the flames, the refugees started a riot. They went wild, apparently, lashing out at any and everyone. That can't be right. Why would they? They must have been provoked. The demonstration was meant to be peaceful. Seven hells. Now the blades have an excuse. They'll round us up and kill anyone who tries to resist. Antecedent, please. If you won't help us build a new life, at least help us keep the ones we've got. My lady? We are not ones to stand idly by and watch innocents suffer. However, until we know more of the circumstances surrounding this riot, I am not certain what aid, if any, we can provide. If the authorities determine that the refugees acted without provocation, then those responsible will have to answer for their actions. How can you be so blind? Find Alphino, and quickly. If he's in danger, or worse, I would have you and none other by his side. I'll head out immediately, ma'am. Thank you. I pray do not concern yourself with the matter we were discussing earlier. Ida and Papalimo will see to it. Alphino is being treated at the Hourglass. Hurry, Sorin. The Hourglass, that's the name of the inn at the Quicksand, right? Off we go. The Adventurer's Guild. Alphino. Alphino, you doing okay? We got word you'd been wounded.
Come, you must have gathered by now that Tataru is given to exaggeration. As you can see, I am quite well. Ul'dah, on the other hand, is not. This riot was anything but an isolated incident.
What do you mean?
There is a restlessness in the air. Tensions long simmering are at last threatening to boil over. Ul'dah is a nation infamous for the great disparity between the wealthy and the poor. The majority of the populace accepts this state of affairs because they believe that every man bears responsibility for his own lot in life. To an Ul'dah, money is the foremost, and some would say the only measure of a man's worth. Small wonder that the wealthiest wield the greatest influence. So where do the refugees fit into this social hierarchy? What place is there for those who fled Alamigo and the destruction of the Calamity? Plainly, there is none. They have no wealth, no power, and no worth. To the Ul'dah way of thinking, they may as well not exist. Choosing to ignore their existence, however, is patently not an option. General Rauban and the Sultana understand this, which is why they ordered the Immortal Flames to provide the refugees aid and succor. Yet none would dispute that the expenses incurred by this policy grow by the day, with no end in sight. This has prompted more and more Uldans to question their obligation to aid these worthless wanderers. While more and more refugees have come to resent their treatment at the hands of the sneering citizenry. The manner of Lord Lolorito's refusal to grant the Dolmens asylum bespoke a disdain for all refugees, an attitude shared by the rest of the monetarists. And you may be sure they make no effort to conceal their opinions. It was only a matter of time before the refugees united in protest. Nor is it any surprise that some among them would ultimately resort to violence. That the Immortal Flames should choose this of all occasions to engage in joint training exercises with the other Grand Companies. By the time they return, the situation may well have deteriorated beyond mending.
Things aren't looking particularly good. Is there anything I can do while I'm here? You needn't concern yourself with affairs here, Sorin. I am more than capable of overseeing preparations for the remaining caravans. As should our Doman vessels arrive, I will inform the antecedent at once. Oh. Never mind, that was apparently not what I was... As I told you before, it is all but inevitable that an incident of this kind would eventually occur given the rising tensions within the Sultanate. Nevertheless, I have reason to believe that this particular rat may not have begun spontaneously. Have I piqued your curiosity? Good. Then you will accompany me to the Hall of Flames. I would hear what General Rauban has to say on the matter. No thanks, there's... Alphino does seem to have a bit of a head for these kind of things. Just got a hunch it's probably worth following up on. General? Now is not a good time, Sorin. My hands are full dealing with the refugees. Precisely the matter we wish to discuss, General. Alphino, back on your feet already. You may credit my swift recovery to your chirurgeons. My memories of the riot are still somewhat muddled. I trust you managed to regain control of the situation. Not entirely. We secured the city soon enough, but not before the unrest had spread to the surrounding territories. Pockets of resistance remain throughout Fanalan. We've sent what forces we can spare to root out the last of the belligerents, but progress is slow. They are damnably elusive. I can well imagine. Given that the majority of refugees live outside the walls, it stands to reason that they would know the lay of the land. What I do not understand is how they came to be so well prepared. Before my little accident, I observed that several of the refugees were armed, and not with butcher's knives or pitchforks, but with martial weaponry. I need hardly add that such equipment is costly. None can deny that tensions between Ul'dan's citizenry and refugee population have increased since the Domans were turned away. But would that motivate a starving man to purchase arms in lieu of food? I think not. But what of those who have not even a single gil to spend, who could not survive without the aid provided by the immortal flames? Surely they would sooner sell a weapon than bring it to bear against their benefactors. Come to the point. Very well. My point, General, is that this powder keg of discontent was not set alight by chance. These events were deliberately set in motion, and now order must be restored. That is my first duty. Until it is done, any investigation can wait. I do not have time to discuss this. My scouts will be returning anon. I get General's concerns, but Alphino does have a point there. The General is no fool. He keeps his own counsel, and with good cause. Were he to claim, without the necessary proof, that these riots were instigated by outside forces, the monetarists would accuse him of attempting to shirk responsibility. After all, he and the Sultana have been the most outspoken proponents of refugee aid. Regardless, they will face harsh criticism in the days ahead. Our allies may stumble upon the truth in time, but I have far more faith in your abilities, Sorin. Therefore, I propose we conduct our own investigation, independent of the authorities. To that end, I would have you make inquiries into settlements suspected of harbouring belligerents. Commander Swift will know which they are. He may balk at a request for such information, but I have no doubt that you can persuade him with your silver tongue. I, meanwhile, shall seek answers in my own way, after which we can regroup and share our findings. Well then, shall we? I'll try my best. I'm not... I feel that silver tongue comment was a little sarcastic. I'm not... Commander Swift? You look as though you have something to say, Sorin. Do you? Was just wondering if you had any information about, these, uprising, like, what, the violent protest, if you could, just for investigation stuff. What you ask is no simple favor. Were such information to fall into the wrong hands, the lives of countless soldiers would be at risk. Even so, there is wisdom in your words. An able individual may be better suited to this task than a regiment. Very well. The Brass Blades have reported suspicious activity in the vicinity of Lost Hope. It may be unrelated to recent events, but we doubt it. I suggest you begin by speaking to the Blades posted there. Thank you, Commander. I'll get right on that. Lost Hope. That's not far from Blackbrush Station, if I remember correctly. There's the Brass Blades. Excuse me, I'm just... What brings you here, adventurer? Search for refugees? Well then, you've come to the right place. Oh, you mean those refugees? Oh no, you won't find them here. Most of the people of Lost Hope have come to accept their situation, and are content to pass their days in peace and quiet. Now, outsiders have trouble understanding that, like the merchant who passed through recently. A gregarious fellow, but awfully opinionated. I can't say I was sad to see him go. Hello there, sir. Friend of the Sultanate, are we? I take this means someone has read my report. The refugees who left with the merchant have yet to return, and I am increasingly concerned that Zazawaka's suspicions were correct. You haven't the focus what I'm talking about, do you? Never mind. Speak with Zazawaka. He'll explain everything. It's a Lalfellan name, at any rate. Excuse me, sir. Don't hurt me! I'm not one of them! I beg your pardon? You're not a flame? I see. If Leifric bid you speak for me, then I take it you've agreed to help. The 12 be praised for that, so we haven't a moment to waste. Everyone knows the flames are on the march. The others have fallen under that fanatic's spell, but not I. Promises of revolution and retribution, of holding the ruling class to account and taking that which is owed? Ha! A childish fantasy. I did everything I could to dissuade the others from leaving, but few would heed my words. Now that one of our idealists has returned, however, the madness of the merchant's plan is plain for all to see. Look behind yonder tent and you'll understand why. Even now he babbles incoherently, so traumatized is he by the bloodshed he witnessed. Try as I might, I can make little sense of his words beyond the fact that he was not alone in surviving. Yet I have no doubt that merchant will lead the remainder to their doom. I beg of you, find him before he does. Excuse me, sir? What are you doing? Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Don't draw! Why didn't you run away with me? We could have escaped together. And you'd be here, with me. Be here to soothe me. Why did you have to stay and leave me alone? Sir, everything's okay. You're not... Who are you? What do you want? Aye, it's true. I followed the merchant. May the gods strike me down for my folly. What they will not give, you must take, he said. When we asked how, he revealed a cache of weapons he had brought, and implored us to seize control of our fates. I thought about running there and then, but the others were so excited. He split us into 2 groups, and sent us off on our own. But when the flames found us, we didn't know what to do. Our leader tried to parley with theirs, but then they started arguing, and then fighting, and then everyone was fighting, and the flames were shouting to give no quarter, and... Oh God, it's the other group! They're still out there! If we don't stop them, they'll get massacred like mine was. We can't let that happen. Do you know where the other group was going? The other refugees are hiding in the cave south of Lost Hope, but to approach them would be fruitless. They would soon have called us agents of the Sultan and tried to kill us and listen to reason. Why, the twins might even deign to do the deed themselves. Pox and all bloody sellswords! They were supposed to train us to fight, but the ones he sent with us vanished during the struggle. Oh, if only we had never listened to that merchant's ridiculous claims. He said our cause was righteous, that the gods would never suffer us to be defeated. Though, if they were forced to confront reality... That's it! Challenge the twins to combat and show my brethren that their strongest warriors are no match for one man. Mayhap then they will agree to lay down their arms and renounce this plot. Yes, it's a plan that has merit. Doesn't quite feel right attacking the people I'm trying to protect here, but... somewhere in these caves, right? They look like they might be refugees in quest. 7 elves, they found us! Everyone, grab your gear and make for the rendezvous point! So that's your game, is it? Sorry to disappoint you, lad, but we're more than willing to kill you ourselves. Eos, I might need you here. Akila, do you want to... Probably won't need a Akila for this. And that guy said twins. I thought there would be 2 of them. This is more than... Anyone else want to try? Apparently so. These look like they might be the twins that the guy was talking about, though. Just careful not to actually kill them. I think we've still got a pulse. Do you mind just calming down for a moment? You beat him like it was nothing! Follow me, what are we going to do now? Just not fight people? Hopefully that'll get them to reconsider. Sir, I think I put them off it. They didn't seem like they'd be fighting. Be willing to fight anytime soon. You've returned. Did you find my brethren? What of the twins? What happened? I see. Well, you had no choice. Better that a handful of them take a beating from you than get the lot butchered by the flames. Tell me, what did the merchant have to say when it was over? I don't think the merchant was there. Huh? Where else would he be? Unless he went to Stone's Throw to recruit others. Do you mind telling me more about this merchant? I'd like to see if I can find him. The merchant wished to approach the refugees in Stone's Throw, but was waiting until the flames withdrew their forces from the vicinity. And now that they have, there's nothing to stop him from continuing his work. How many more must perish in pursuit of this futile cause? How much more suffering must we endure before it ends? Find him. Convince him to cease his mad quest. It will surely lead us to ruin. I get the nagging feeling that that might be his objective. He's deliberately having these refugees throw themselves to their deaths. I don't quite know why. Maybe he's an ally of the monitarists? You know, no one will care if the refugees go missing if it's because they got themselves killed. Excuse me, is everything alright? Have you seen my parents? I don't think so. Is there anything I can help with? They told me to stay here with the others. They said they'd be back soon, but it's been days. They left with the man from Ulda. The man said they were going to change everything. Make it so I could live inside the walls with everyone else. I liked it when he said that. I didn't like it when he talked about making the rich people pay. Everyone looked so angry and I got scared. Say, mister, are you looking for someone? I'm looking for someone stirring up trouble. Like possibly that man you were just talking about. You mean the man who left with my parents? But I don't know where he... Wait, look, over there. I think that's him. Well now, which of these gullible fools shall be my next victim? Oh boy. He's getting away. Go get him, mister. Don't worry. I'll make sure he doesn't come around bothering you again. I'm gonna make sure he has a nice long talk with the flames. Hello there, sir. Would you mind if I have a few words? You again? Why are you pursuing me? I've been hearing some things about your work. Sedition? Treason? Revolution? That's preposterous. Who has filled your head with these lies? Refugees? The self-same refugees who terrorized the streets of Ul'dah? Huh. You have no evidence to prove your accusations. None. I say, no, I will not accompany you to the Hall of Flames. You have no right to detain me. I strongly suggest you do come along. For the sake of argument, let's say I did do the things you claim. Surely you don't think I give a concern's arse about politics. It was business. Only business. Are you going to come with me or not? We both know I am not the one you want. However, if you agree to protect me, I swear I shall tell you everything. Protect you from... Wait. That... What's all this commotion? 7 hells! Tell the others to spread out and search the area. The killer may still be close. Someone wanted to shut him up. There goes our lead. At least we know it's... There is more to this than just a normal... Just an uprising. Hold it, Venture. I would know more about your relationship with the victim, as well as the events leading up to his death. I don't know if you could say we had much of a relationship, but... This man was responsible for the recent riots? Mayhap we owe his murderer a debt of gratitude. In any case, it is obvious you are not the one whom we seek. You may carry on with your investigation, Scion. Thank you, sir. Oh. Guess I should be reporting this to Alphino. Maybe his investigation found something more concrete. No sign of Alphino. Guess I can let Commander Swift know what happened. Excuse me? What news, Sorin? Where's the merchant? About that... Murdered? Damn it all to the 7th hell. He was not simply murdered, Sorin. He was silenced. Too many knew his face, and he was ready to divulge his secrets. Do not despair, though. We may be close to identifying the true orchestrator of these riots than you realize. I've got... Oh, no, 50 augmented arm works. Very good. What do you mean, Commander? The Flame General left word that you are to proceed to the Fragrant Chamber as soon as you returned. He wishes to discuss your recent discoveries, as well as the results of our own investigation. Master Alphino has already been informed and should be waiting for you outside. Pray proceed to the Royal Promenade with all haste, and speak with Bartholomew. Fragrant. Frequent chamber, that's the Sultana zone. I guess it's only natural she'd be concerned about everything going on as well. Off now. Excellent work, Sorin. The information you brought us helped me persuade General Raban to call this meeting. Mayhap now we can discuss matters openly and honestly. Shall we head in then? We've been expecting you, sir. Please proceed inside.
Commander Swift has kept us apprised of your recent activities. You've made great strides towards quelling the violence.
Despite our best efforts to determine what provoked this uprising, truth continues to elude us. Have you uncovered aught which might shed some light on the mystery?
This information does not leave this room.
I can keep my mouth shut.
To reject the Doman refugees' appeal for asylum had lasting repercussions. A number of those displaced by the calamity claimed it was proof of a policy of discrimination. Together with a group of Alamegan refugees, they organized a series of demonstrations to protest against the Sultanate. Demonstrations which became heated, but did not descend into violence. Until a certain incident served as a call to arms.
A unit of brass blades sent to supervise a demonstration loosed arrows upon unarmed protesters. It was this atrocity which prompted the refugees to take up arms. I need not tell you what followed.
The brass blade shot
We
first.
assumed at first that the attack was born of a miscommunication. When emotions run high, they happen. But suspicions were raised regarding the unit's commanding officer, whom I ordered interrogated. Sure enough, our fears were soon confirmed. The dog confessed that a merchant had offered him coin to give the order. A merchant in the employ of Teleji Adeleji.
Teleji Adeleji. But he spoke in favor of the Doman's cause, and has ever seemed sympathetic towards the refugees' plight. Why would he do such a thing?
Yeah,
Know you of the Cartano Reclamation Bill? It is a proposal to annex the Cartano Flats so that refugees may establish permanent settlements.
When last I looked, that was disputed territory.
Aye. Some might even call it a battlefield.
I've been to the Cardinal Flats once or twice with Maelstrom training exercises.
The destruction wrought by Bahamut was greatest at the Cartano Flats. That much is common knowledge. What is less well known is that his rampage laid bare ancient Alagon ruins, of which no record existed. There are certain differences of opinion as to how these ruins should be handled, which is why each nation maintains a military presence in the region to this day. Yet differ though we may, we are still allies. Therefore, in the interest of preserving the Eorzean alliance, we have reached an agreement. Any conflict which may arise during the course of military exercises in the region shall have no bearing on relations between our nations. In full knowledge of this delicate state of affairs, Teleji Adeleji proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill. A shameless bloody ruse which stands to benefit him in but one conceivable way. If successful, he will gain control over the disputed territory under the guise of assisting in the resettlement effort. And you can be sure he'll build an orphanage next to every Allagan ruin.
Are you suggesting he wants to use refugees as an excavation force?
The man would threaten the unity of the Eorzean alliance and risk countless lives for personal gain.
He walks a path all his own, independent of any faction and beholden to none of his fellows on the Syndicate.
By inciting the less fortunate to violence, he hopes to convince others that the Cartano Reclamation Bill is the only viable solution. His sympathy for the plight of the Domans was not but posturing to gain credibility with the refugees. Of that there can be no doubt.
Forgive me, but what could possibly motivate Teleji Adeleji to go to such lengths? What is so special about these ruins that he would risk his position on the Syndicate, and, most likely, charges of treason against the Sultanate?
Omega.
Omega?
Pardon?
An Allagan monstrosity, not unlike the Ultima weapon. Mayhap larger, we know not. It has yet to be fully excavated. Allagan inscriptions indicate that it was created to fell Bahamut himself.
That's
If accurate, it might explain why Van Darnus chose to bring the Red Moon down upon the Cartano Flats, given the ends he went to ensure Eorzea's annihilation. Destroying the one weapon which could stay the Elder Primal may well have seemed like good sense.
or really bad sense. What if the Empire hadn't been able to stop Bahamut themselves?
When first I bore witness to the power of the Ultima weapon, I doubted the evidence of my senses. And now you tell me there is another such weapon. One which could contend with Bahamut. Bahamut!
Aye, we were skeptical ourselves. Truth be told, until the Ultima weapon's existence came to light, we thought the inscription had been mistranslated.
At present, Omega is more akin to a fossil than a tool of war, having long since ceased to function. As such, its true potential cannot accurately be gauged. However, if someone were to restore it, as the Garleans did the Ultima weapon, I have little doubt that he would wield untold power.
Power enough to subjugate Uldar like as not, and the rest of Eorzea besides, which is doubtless why Teleji Adeleji yearns to have it.
That he should aspire to world domination. He who has ever walked 2 paces behind Lord Lolorito in matters of commerce.
'Tis in acknowledgement of his own limitations that he seeks this power. Woe betide us all should we allow him to have it.
Pray waste no time chasing rats. Only a fool would believe that secrets can be kept in Uldar.
It would seem the implications of the Sultanate's refugee problem are rather more far-reaching than we assumed.
Yeah, that sounds... the Ultimate weapon was tough enough as it was. If there's something even worse out there, I'd rather not have to deal with it. Where do we go from here, Alphino? I should be glad to know the truth, and yet the thought that all this chaos was the product of one man's lust for power sickens me. How long do you think they intended to hide the existence of Omega from the Scions? That they even felt the need to do so is most troubling. It would be in our best interest to learn more of the military activities in the disputed territories. Fortunately, you are already well positioned to do so, Private Sherwood. Pray keep us informed of any developments in Cardinal. If I'm ever out there again, I'll keep my eye out for him. Be gone, whelp! This is no place for children! girl is from... She's from Stone's Throw. I'm sorry. Hey, you okay? I was looking for you, mister. You said you were looking for the man who left my parents. You know this girl? I met her out at Stone's Throw. Her parents were convinced into joining the riots from the looks of it. So he visited Stone's Throw as well. I see. Did you find the man? Were my parents with him? They were not, I'm afraid. However, I can think of several places they might be. If you like, we can go and look for them together. Really? You'll help me look, mister? Of course. But first, I must needs finish speaking with my friend. He's telling me a secret, you see, so no one else is allowed to listen. Mayhap you could wait for me by that pillar over there. We require but a moment. Okay, mister. I'll be waiting. I'll take her to the quicksand. Mayhap Mamudi will know what to do. A legion of Garleans, an Aether-starved Primal. Even dealing with an Ascian would be preferable to this charade. Sometimes I fear Minfilia is too ambitious. We rush hither and yon in response to threats as they arise, without concern for the strain it places on our limited resources, and ourselves. Mayhap the time has come for a change. Speaking of... Sorin, this is Minfilia. I know this is sudden, but I must ask you to return to Revenant's Toll with all due haste. The situation at the 12th Wood has taken a turn for the worse. I will explain in detail once you arrive. Duty calls, Alphino. I need to get heading back to the Rising Stones. The 12th Wood? Then the primal threat you spoke of before has been confirmed? I have received no reports of XIV activity, which leaves... the Sylphs? Go, Sorin. You know as well as I that the appearance of a primal takes precedence over all else. Oh, and when you arrive, do inform the antecedent that while I am grateful for her concern, she needn't fear for my safety. I am more than capable of protecting myself. I'll let her know. Alphino is surprisingly better dealing with kids than I thought. Maybe it's because he's still kind of a kid himself, I guess. What's going on? If it isn't the Exile, then... What I remember, the Sylphs had already successfully summoned Rama. But it wasn't a problem as long as the Gardanians kept clear of the Sylphlands. If it is the Sylphs, what changed? Hello there. I am come on behalf of the Elder Seedseer to petition the aid of your order. The antecedent has been appraised of the situation. Miss Minfilia? It is a relief to see you healthy and hale, Sorin. The latest news from Ul'dah was most disturbing. You mentioned how... Oh. Clearly, the only injury Alphino suffered was to his ego. Doubtless it will heal ere long. And the other Scions will need to be present for this meeting. If you are ready to begin, I will summon them now. Doesn't sound like something we should leave waiting. Thank you for responding to my call with such haste. Excuse me. Rest assured I should not have summoned you were it not urgent. The business then. I have received some most disturbing news from the Order of the Twin Adder. They have reason to believe that the Sylphs may have called forth their revered guardian, the Primal Rama. I'm sorry, may have? Then it is not certain. The Elder Seedseer informs us that the elementals themselves murmur of the Lord of Levin's return to the forest. The Sylphlands, however, display no signs of undue commotion. Forgive me, Antecedent, but the fact need not contradict the elemental's testimony. Unlike his more bellicose compeers, Garuda and so on, Rama is reputed to act only in defense of his children. I imagine he would soon make his presence known if any were foolish enough to directly endanger the Sylphs or their territory. The abruptness of this development concerns me. Were we not keeping a close eye on the Touched Ones and their movements? If preparations for a summoning ritual were indeed underway, it would surely not have escaped your notice. Oh, it didn't. I was pretty sure it was going to happen, just not this soon. I beg your pardon. You foresaw this eventuality and did not prevent it. I told Papalimo. I suppose I could have reported things to Minfilia earlier, but there honestly wasn't much we could do except wait and see. You know how the Sylphs feel about people poking around in their territory. They already summoned Rama once right after the calamity, but that was because the Garleans came tramping through the forest. And so long as Castramorian stands, the Sylphs cannot be blamed for wishing to have their guardian deity on hand. In short, he and I are in agreement. The actions of the forest folk were inevitable and unavoidable. And I maintain that observation would have remained the best policy had it not been for the sudden influx of strangers into the Black Shroud. That, alas, we did not foresee. By all accounts, the recent violence in Uldar drove a number of refugees to seek safety under the concealing canopy of the trees. It is like that the Sylphs perceived this panicked migration as yet another invasion, and quickened their efforts to summon their god. I am put in mind of Titan and the kobolds. Once again, it is the affairs of men which have paved the way for a Primal's coming. Indeed, one cannot help but wonder what manner of place Eorzea would be without the civilizing influence of mankind. Be that as it may, this regrettable development does afford us a unique opportunity. Sorin, through your dealings with the Sylphs of Little Solace, you once succeeded in preventing an untimely conflict with Gridania. I wonder, might one who has treated with the Sylphs so fruitfully in the past not achieve similar success with their patron deity? If Rama can be convinced of our intentions, it may be the first step to breaking the cycle of primal summoning. A fond hope. Were such a thing possible, we would not have been at war with the beastmen since time immemorial. But maybe this time we can... Let us continue this discussion anon. We must needs first consult with the nation most affected by Rama's presence. Wait, was everyone suggesting that I just chat with Rama? That's not normally how these encounters with primals go. The Elder Seedseer has requested your personal involvement, Sorin. Prepare a court to Commander Hilo at the Adder's Nest as soon as you are able. Well, I guess I can try. It's better than fighting another god, right? Steel yourself for the worst. While I hope for a peaceful resolution to this matter, experience suggests that your meeting with the Lord of Levin will prove less than amicable. In such an event, your fellow Scions will of course lend you whatever support you require. I'll be hoping that this can go over peacefully as well. I'll be off to Gridania then. Sylphs I talked with were untempered. I didn't get a chance really to meet any tempered. I suppose I met a couple of tempered sylphs, but that encounter didn't end peacefully. Sorin of the Scions, your arrival has been most anticipated. The appearance of a primal is ever cause for alarm and unease. Do my men stand ready for any eventuality? I know of none more qualified than you to snuff out this threat. Indeed, I would have you do so without delay. The Elder Seedseer, however, would speak with you first. She is of the opinion that your diplomatic, rather than martial, skills may better serve our cause. I will leave further explanation to our learned leader. Pray make your way to Nofika's altar. The conjurer in attendance will admit you to the Lotus Stand. Oh. Well then. It'd be nice if we could resolve things peacefully for once. Conjurer's Guild. Hello again. Your scions have already arrived, sir. May I show you in? Everyone's here. Sylph as well. Elder Seedseer?
Scions of the Seventh Dawn, on behalf of the people of Gridania, I bid you welcome. Your presence is of great comfort to us all in these days of uncertainty. I summoned you here to share tidings of a most urgent nature. But a short while ago, the great elemental spoke, and his voice was clarion in its intensity. Ramuh is returned unto the forest. Scarce had his words ceased to echo in mine ears when we were visited by an emissary from Little Solace. Our guest informs us that the Sylphs, too, have sensed the presence of the Lord of Levin. Though his exact whereabouts remain unknown, we may safely assume that the Primal was summoned within the heart of the Sylphlands. Unlike the other Primals you have encountered, Lord Ramuh is no raging avatar of destruction. He is revered as much for his wisdom as his strength, serving as both arbiter and guardian to his children. Given that we and the Sylphs found a way to share the Twelves Wood, it is my hope that this sagely immortal will be amenable to reason, and that conflict may be avoided. Blessed as you are with the power of the Echo, you are one of the few among us who may commune with a Primal without fear of influence. I would ask, therefore, that you represent us in this most delicate of negotiations.
I can
The
do my
Twelves Wood has
best.
suffered enough. Upon this, we and the Sylphs, and I would venture Lord Ramuh himself, are in perfect accord. Let us not endanger our shared home by engaging in unnecessary hostilities. Dear friend, I beseech you, safeguard the peace which exists between our peoples.
Well, do my best, ma'am.
You have my thanks. Pray make for Little Solace, then. A member of the Order of the Twin Adder awaits you there. He will advise you on how to find the Lord of Levin. An ill wind blows through the forest. Yet, it is not only the Twelves Wood that flinches at its coming. All the lands of Eorzea shiver in dread anticipation. Have care.
It's been a while since I was last at Little Solace. I don't think it's been since I had to report. Since after the attack. Elder Frixio isn't here. Lieutenant? Sorin of the Scions, I was told to expect you. I understand you go to treat with the Primal Ramu himself. An unenviable task, but one for which I have no doubt you are well suited. I have been told that your fellow Scions are conducting an investigation of the area as we speak, but we might ascertain the location where the Lord of Levin might be found. I would ask that you abide here until they return with their findings. I guess so. Well, I was told that a messenger would be sent as soon as your fellow Scions finish their investigation. I do not imagine it will be much longer. Nope. Hello there. This one returns, and returns with good tidings. Wise ones have finished searching, and have wisely identified the precise location where the touched ones summoned Lord Ramu. Your timing is impeccable, my fluttery friend. Might you be so kind as to escort this good man to his fellow Scions? It would be this one's pleasure, Walking One. Please come with this one. Into the Self-Lands, I guess. Last time I was here, it was... I'm gonna peel that back on. Oh. I know I could fly, but this is Sorin's first time through this into the Self-Lands. I've never gone any further than this. Is that a house or a... Doesn't look quite as natural as everything else around here. Wise ones have ventured deep within the Self-Lands. These ones must proceed carefully and keep an eye out for touched ones. Deeper still. I think as much as possible we want to avoid getting in any fights. I imagine it'll be much easier to diplomacy if we haven't... If we try and keep things peaceful while we're here. This one is most sorry, but this one can go no further. You are too close to Lord Ramu, and this one may turn mean and nasty, like touched ones. And so this one must say farewell for now. Walking One will find wise ones not far from here, to the south. Go in safety, Walking One. Thank you for your help. I think I'm okay the rest of the way. Oh, that's Maggie. There's the others. So, it's actually you? I'm relieved. For a moment I thought we were dealing with another one of those confounded self-tricksters. I swear, with them wreaking havoc with their skin-changing magics, it's a wonder I was able to finish taking my measurements. Yes, it was quite the ordeal. You should have seen the look on your Stoller's face when the one impersonating you suddenly showed up. That's quite enough, Papalimo. Ahem. My apologies. It is not like me to ramble, so... At any rate, as I was saying, I have finished measuring etheric activity in the area. And I am pleased to say that I have reached an indisputable conclusion. Wit, that Rama was called forth in the vicinity of the Sylph's Ifrit. Come, Sorin, the Lord of Levin awaits. This is definitely going to be a new experience. Trying to converse with a primal without resorting to violence. Hey there! Oh boy. I just want to talk.
Thine order betrays thee, servant of hiding.
Guys, are you okay to be here? Are you not still susceptible to primal influence? Is this Ramu?
Thou art the bringer of light, bane of Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, and Leviathan.
Yes, don't worry, I'm not here to fight if I can avoid it.
Children of the forest. Thou tramplest upon sacred soil, bringer of light. By what right doth man intrude in this sanctuary of the sylphs?
I just want to talk and see if we can...
Redanians proffer peace? Their words are born of delusion, thine offer an insult.
That's not a good start.
Thou speakest of harmony, yet carest naught for my children's desires. They did but wish to dwell beneath these boughs in solitude. Yet even that was too much to ask of man. Thus did they turn to me for succor. The sentence I pronounce upon thy kind is just. Redanian or Garlean, it matters not. The good intent of one excuseth not the misdeeds of the other. Their conflicts have brought naught but anguish and misery unto the forest. All blame doth lie with the darkness that resideth in the breast of man.
Where's Infinite when you need him?
This calamitous seed. In the beginning, no such duality existed. For light and dark given form when man was born. It would explain much. Not least why strife and sorrow follow ever in thy wake. Thou canst not deny the urgings of thine own nature. Knowing that thy mere presence here portendeth tragedy, wilt thou persist in this
Peacemaking is what I am here. The crystal Elder Frixio gave me.
Thou bearest the crystal which I bestowed upon my wayward charges. That they should entrust so precious a gift to thee. Thou standest apart from thy kin. Thou art the bringer of light, aye. But there is something more in thee. Very well. I shall consider thy proposal. Shouldst thou survive my trial.
Survive?
Thou wouldst champion the cause of harmony. I must have proof that thou art fit to play the role. Wither mine ire, and prove to me thereby that thou hast strength enough to stay the darkness which threateneth to consume thee. Yet if thou shouldst be found wanting, know that all men shall perish in the storm of my judgment.
Was I understanding?
Come to me, bringer of light. I shall await thee on the field of battle.
I wasn't I?
Eorzea, it is rare indeed to find you so far from a tome.
It is unusual to see you away from The waking sounds.
Lord of Levin himself. Never till this day had I looked upon his visage, save in painted renderings made faint by time. Ever shall this scene remain etched in my mind's eye. Beg pardon, my lady. I must beg thine aid on a point of research. If thou art resolved to face Lord Ramu, I would ask thy leave to observe the event.
I don't really have a problem with that. No more problem than I have with having to fight him in the first place. I guess at the very least this is at least more of a organized duel. It's not just well, he said my objective was to survive, so I'm guessing he's still going to try and kill me, but at least I hope there's a reason beyond it, beyond just wanting me dead, like every other Primal I've fought. What to do in the meantime, though? I wait. I'm always a bit lost at this stage of what to do. I don't think there's too much to do over and just maybe grind fate somewhere again. Try and get some company seals. Try and get Sorin promoted. I think Sorin is nearly sergeant. Oh no, corporal is next. I think the best place to grind fates at this stage is Northern Family. Don't even know if I'll get one done though before duty pops. It says less than 5 minutes estimated time. So right there. Only 3 minutes left. Oh, hello. Oh, no, thank you. I might. Oh, never mind. I was about to say I might have enough time to. Oh, left on the fate to complete the fate, but not if the duty's popping. I'll continue in case this final DPS doesn't. Oh, never mind. There we go. Striking tree. This is the arena Lord Rama has prepared, I guess. Yes, I'll have fought against the whole Primal of all 5 beast tribes. Not an achievement I was necessarily hoping I'd achieve in life, but here we are. Thank you, friend. Doesn't get that. One of us has to collect 3 things, right? Good change. It's been a while since I've done the fight against Rama. It's one of the 2 primals who I fought the extreme variant of and actually like level synced and beaten. That was with a random party as well, which was really nice. It was very friendly party. I'm happy to get matched up with. Did it? Wait, I hadn't quite intended to entirely defeat him like that. I thought we could still Let's go, Eos.
I have taken thy measure, bringer of light.
Are you still alive?
And
Lord
I
Rama?
judge thee a worthy champion. The task of excising the sin that hath taken root in man's heart is thine. Shrink not from employing thy strength in service to the forest and the wider realm beyond. Like hungering shadows do the enemies of harmony gather, and meekness will but feed them. If man is to be delivered from the dark, it shall be by thy guiding light alone. Stray not from the path, for if thou dost, thy people shall be truly lost.
Here I was hoping things
Thou
would
hast
start calming
slain
down.
the Lord of Levin. A regrettable act, but a necessary one.
Was it necessary? Could I not have defeated him without killing him?
In witnessing thy struggle, the truth hath been revealed unto me. If I mistake not, it may yet prove a chink in the eternal armor of the Ascians. But let us conclude our present business. I shall expound upon my findings at the Rising Stones anon.
You think you've found a way to defeat an Ascian permanently? That's big news. Guess I should report to the Twin Adder before heading back to Mordona. Lieutenant? Sorin, you have returned. Dare I ask how Rama received your visit? As well as it could have, I guess? He challenged you to a test of arms? It is well then that you have some experience in such matters. The peoples of both Gridania and Little Solace will be relieved to hear that the Lord of Levin has accepted you as the forest's champion of peace. You have performed a monumental duty this day, Sorin. The Elder Seedseer must be informed of your deeds at once. Are you saying I should go and... The Elder Seedseer will wish to hear of your experiences firsthand. Pray return to Gridania and make directly for the Locust Stand. The conjurer at Nofika's altar will be expecting you. Fare you well, Sorin. Yeah, you are expecting me to go there myself. Well, off we go. I guess Miss Minfelli will have to wait a little longer for her report. Stream is still healthy. Welcome back, Honored Scion. We who knew of your mission have been most anxious to see you return. The Elder Seedseer awaits you within. Looks like everyone's here again. The Sylphic emissary seems to be... must have stayed behind in Little Sauce.
You are returned to us, dear friend. and none the worse for bearing the heavy burden which I did press upon you. Most glad am I of this. I am informed that your efforts to negotiate a peace with Lord Ramuh ended in conflict. Pray tell me, what befell?
Well, a challenge of
Made a
sorts.
trial of you? I fear there is truth to his claim. It is the darkness within us that attracts the darkness without. It cannot be denied that misfortune follows man. For evidence, one need only look to the conflict brewing in Cartano, or to the rising flood of refugees. Our shared struggle against the Empire should have served to seal our union. Yet the ties which bind the Alliance strain under the weight of gross self-interest. As the scars of the calamity begin to fade, so too does our sense of common purpose. Yet now is scarce the time to forget our shared responsibility. If this new-sprung realm is to survive beyond its infancy, it must needs be nurtured by all. Eorzea must be as one. Yet I fear that dream is still far off. On behalf of the people of Gridania and the elementals both, I thank you for all that you and your fellow scions have done. Full oft have I been compelled to look to you for aid of late, and offered all too little in return. As leader of this nation, I shall endeavor to prove a more worthy ally to your cause henceforth. Lord Ramuh has departed, yet the keening of this ill wind grows no less insistent. Voices of the forest, pray speak and I shall listen. What unseen evil begets this unease in my heart?
More stuff I cannot comment on, has Sorin. Mr. Papano? That sends another daunting mission, eh, Sorin? I'd hoped Lord Ramar could be persuaded with words alone, but nonetheless, I can only admire the adroitness with which you responded to the Primal's sudden challenge. And it seems that Eorzea, too, was pleased with the outcome. What say you, Sorin? Shall we gather back at the Rising Stones and ponder the lessons of the day? Sounds like a good idea. Oh, nope, not to Limsa. See you all there, I guess. Everything that Lord Rama said, excising the sin of mankind, that's a... I mean, I kind of... I get I'm a bit of a... well, a hero now, but... like, there's... this and that seem like completely different scales. Is those on? The children are quick to take to Eorzean ways, but cannot claim the same flexibility. Don't worry, sir, it all takes... some people take a bit more getting used to things than others. Duty calls? Well, no matter the task, I have faith you will see it through to the end. Take care, Sorin. I look forward to hearing all about your adventures when you return. I am here to return, but... I tried substituting native ingredients several times, but the result was but a pale imitation of authentic Doman cuisine. Saves. Hey, Mr. Sorin, what's a Rama? Is it cute and fluffy like a horsebird? He did have quite a beard, but I don't know if I'd call Rama fluffy. Mayhap one day we shall accompany you into the field, but for now we must see to less glamorous duties. Speaking with Master Coltonet has opened my eyes to a great many things. I had no idea the world outside Domo was so strange and wonderful. Mr. Sorin, is it true you're going adventuring again? I'm so jealous. Worried about leaving us alone? Don't be. While the Archons are away, Hoary Boulder will keep the little ones safe. Things seem as normal in the Rising Stones, at least. Miss Manphilia? Welcome back, Sorin. Word of your momentous encounter with Lord Rama precedes you. Excuse me? I would fain share news of mine own, but Urianger's discoveries must take precedence. Upon witnessing your defeat of the Lord of Levin, our learned companion was struck with profound insight regarding the nature of the Ascian's immortality. Excuse me? Let us assemble and discuss his observations together. Is that everyone? Oh, looks like we're all here.
Everyone is ready. Let us begin. Eorzea, the floor is yours.
As all here assembled now know, in its final hours as our Order's headquarters, the Waking Sands did play host to a most unexpected visitor. I speak of the Ascian clad in white, Elidibus. Unwelcome though his presence was, his words that day did serve to confirm a truth long suspected, that the Ascians are eternal beings, to whom physical destruction is as a temporary inconvenience.
In the intervening time, Eorzea and I have striven to discover a means by which the Ascians might more permanently be slain.
And 'tis my belief that we have found the thread that will allow us to unravel the twisted skein of their existence. In the moments prior to Leviathan's most recent manifestation, the Sahagin elder who summoned him was observed to undergo some manner of ascension. The etheric readings taken by Y'shtola at the time of this transfiguration have proven most enlightening.
The disruption to the flow of ether was sudden and dramatic. So tangible was the agitation, I scarce had need of my goggles.
The significance of Y'shtola's readings might better be understood in the context of mine own, taken at the instant of the Lord of Levin's demise. Unlike the Primal, the Sahagin was not subject to etheric dissipation.
Before discussing our new discoveries, it may benefit us all to recall what we know of etheric behavior. Let us begin at what some might call the end. When we who dwell in the material realm die, our spirits dissolve into the flow of ether and are returned to the ethereal realm. In turn, the restless energy which suffuses that plane streams back into our world, giving rise to new life.
'Tis as the heavens did decree, the way of all mortal souls. Twixt this world and the next do the ethereal currents swirl, bearing the very essence of life. Thus doth the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continue unabated.
Primals behave somewhat differently. In order to manifest and then maintain a physical presence in this realm, they must consume vast quantities of ether, most often in the form of crystals. Though they may seem to live, their flesh is but ether given shape. Thus, a defeated Primal leaves behind no broken corpse. Rather, the essence of its form seeps back into the land whence it came, and the energy of its shattered spirit is called back to the ethereal realm.
And there it waiteth, till next the prayers of the faithful do draw it forth from the sea of ether, to take their offering of crystals and make for itself a new body.
Which brings us on to the third group, the so-called immortals. They exist in a manner all their own.
Quite. Even as the Sahagin Elder fell to the Admiral's musket shot, I witnessed the release of an ethereal cloud, which immediately took possession of a nearby minion.
A soul that dissipateth not upon the death of the flesh.
The secret of life everlasting, and in the claws of a Sahagin no less. But I wonder, what would happen to one of these obstinate spirits, should there be no suitable host for it to claim?
If mortal death entails a return to the ethereal realm, it seems doubtful that the soul of an immortal would venture there.
Nay, it merely withdraweth the distance, unto the shore of the ethereal sea, perchance, but no further.
Yes, it exists in neither this realm nor the next, abiding instead in the space that lies between them. The Ascians took control of Thancred by means of a crystal of darkness, an artifact which, if our theories are correct, serves as a gateway to the place I have just described.
I was hoping people had forgotten about that.
I am sorry, my friend.
For a mercy, the weary road of our research hath brought us unto an answer.
The Sahagin ascended to an immortal state, but he did not possess a crystal of darkness through which to flee this realm. Thus was he consumed by Leviathan. If we could entrap the spirits of defeated Ascians in like manner, and thereby deny them resurrection...
Chance of killing them.
Therein lieth the path to victory. Thou art most perceptive, my lady. Only when we have trapped the bodiless soul within an ethereal prison can we hope to defeat its unnatural constancy. Thus might even an eternal paragon be consigned to oblivion.
These feats are, of course, far easier said than done. At present, we lack a viable means to entrap and extinguish an Ascian soul. Yet, I believe it to be possible. The pieces of the puzzle lie before us. We have but to put them together.
I will depart at once to convene with the sages of Sharlayan. Together shall we divine the steps by which our goals may be achieved.
I have the utmost faith in you, Archon.
Beg pardon, antecedent, but I would raise one final matter. Even now, a Sharlayan survey party seeketh to ascertain the fate of the students of Baldessian. Their findings shall soon be known to us. Though you harbor feelings of dread, I bid you surrender not to sorrow, but abide instead in hopeful prayer.
I shall, Archon. Thank you.
The word of Levin is returned to the Aether, as was Leviathan before him. Rama's acquiescence was most intriguing. Inferno, Vortex, Crag, Whirl, and Levin. All have now been humbled by the Bringer of Light. The limitless potential of man, Eidolon's servant, grows mightier by the day. Yet he prospers at great cost to his mistress, whose strength is all too finite. 7 times have the masses survived the rejoining, but their souls are grown weak and wan. Yet even as it enervates, the ardour empowers our master. All that remains is to nurture the strength of the gifted, to forge the final key. And that is the task to which we bend our every effort. Divine seeds are wherever wont to quicken in Eorzea's fertile soil. We need only lead men to the field, and by their eager hands shall a new deity arise. That which was shattered shall be made anew, and the one true God shall come again. Miss Minfilia, now that all that's resolved, is there anything else I can help with? Now that the matter of Ramuh has, for the present, been put to rest, there's something I would show you, Sorin. A letter? It is a letter of thanks, signed by the leaders of the Eorzean Alliance, acknowledging the Scion's tireless service to the realm. It mentions, in particular, the names of all the defeated Primals: Ifrit, Titan, Garuda, Good King Mogulmog XII, Leviathan, and now Ramuh. Needless to say, there is only one among our number to have faced them all. And though these words of gratitude were addressed to our order as a whole, I feel that they were meant for you above all others. I too must offer my heartfelt thanks for all that you have done. In the course of your duties, you have never once failed to answer my call to arms. You are a true hero, Sorin, and Eorzea is that much the safer for your presence. Thank you, ma'am. I'm just doing what I think's right. Pray do not misunderstand me. I said safer, not safe. I know only too well that we can ill afford to lower our guard. The Ascians may be relied upon to sow chaos in the realm, until such time as they are forced to stop. Why, even without their encouragement, you may be assured that man would foment strife on his own, and that is to say nothing of the beast tribes. Unless we learn to live in harmony, the Primals too will return to plague us again and again and again. And yet, despite all of this, your deeds serve to inspire the people, give them hope for a better tomorrow, and there is no greater gift. That we have the courage to strive for what might otherwise seem an impossible peace, we owe in no small part to the dangers you have faced on our behalf, and the people you have won over to our cause in so doing. Our list of enemies has ever been long, but think of the allies with whom we are now blessed. Of the sylphs of Little Solace, who wish naught of conflict. Of the Alamegans and the Domans who stand with us, determined to halt the dread march of the Empire. And then there is Sid and the Fellowship of Noah, racing to unlock the mysteries of ancient Alag that we might be spared the horror of another ultimate weapon. Of course, when speaking of our greatest allies, we must not forget those closest to us, by which I mean our fellow Scions. Thanks to their many and varied talents, our order is uniquely equipped to combat the far-reaching corruption of the Ascians, and combat it we shall. Your enthusiasm is truly heartwarming, Antecedent. Given our embarrassing wealth of allies, I trust it will not inconvenience you unduly if I absent myself for a time. Yep, Alphino. Alphino, I take it the troubles in Ul'dah no longer require your attention? There are yet some rumblings of discontent, but the air of simmering violence is largely dissipated. Just report such that I stand before you now. That, and to speak with you concerning the new organization we discussed. Ah, I have a message for you, from Ellie. You recall the refugee girl, the one whose parents were missing. They were found unharmed. She wished me to pass on her thanks to you. Why, Alphino, am I to understand that you made the effort to remember the poor girl's name? I look forward to reading all about her in your report. I do hope you left nothing out. Yeah, it is a little unlike you, Alphino, to pay that much attention. Sorin, you have been away from Reverend's Toll for some time now, I believe. Might I suggest you put the affairs of the realm to one side for the moment, and take this opportunity to reacquaint yourself with the town? Which reminds me, one of the Doman children recently inquired as to your whereabouts. Yozan was his name. I believe he has some small matter he wishes to share with you. Why not oblige him with a visit? I'll do that. I could do with something a little quieter after everything. Yozan? Miss Minfilia told me you wanted to see me? What can I help you with? Look, it's Mr. Sorin. He's back from his adventures. We heard you're off fighting Primals, and that they're some of the strongest enemies you could ever face. I wish I could have seen you in battle. Anyway, we all want to be heroes too, so we finally formed our very own Doman Adventurers Guild to protect all the Domans. Oh, you think you could train us today, Mr. Sorin? Maybe you could show us how you fought the Primals. What's all this commotion then? Hori Boulder. Coltono. Mr. Boulder and Mr. Coltonet. Did you know that Mr. Sorin is back? So it would seem. Welcome home, Sorin. My companion and I but recently became full members of the Scions, and I believe proper introductions have yet to be made. I am known as Hori Boulder, and this bookish fellow is Coltonet. Though we remain largely unproven as adventurers, we have taken it upon ourselves to instruct the Doman younglings in the arts of combat. Ah, I told you, Mr. Boulder, we are not younglings anymore. We are adventurers. And we were just asking Mr. Sorin if he could give us some special training. I think we're ready to hunt monsters alongside him, don't you? Well, you've certainly been diligent with your drills, but I'm afraid the fiends of Mordona are still ever so slightly too dangerous for you. I have to agree with Mr. Boulder here. The creatures around Mordona are pretty tough. I have a counter-proposal. What if I were to cross swords with Sorin? A demonstration of skill at arms, if you will. Hori, if I didn't know you better, and I do, I'd say you're merely seeking to test yourself against a legend. Well, mayhaps I am, but what matters the motive when the children stand to learn so much from the lesson? What say you, Sorin? Would you consent to spar with me? You know what? Yeah. Be nice to have just a friendly match for once. Hurrah! We're to have a tournament! Come on, everyone. We must prepare our gear for an outing. Do try not to disappoint them, Have faith, Coltony. I shall summon every last ounce of my strength to make of this a worthy contest. The fields to the east of town should prove suitable for our purpose. I very much look forward to our bout. Well, let's go and see how this goes. I'm actually feeling pretty confident about this. Actually wondering if... will there be need for me to hold back? Light seems very red. I know that Glimweather happens in Mordona, but it feels more red than usual. Oh, off the top. Mr. Boulder? It was good of you to agree to this, Sorin. I trust you are ready to begin? Ready whenever you are, Mr. Boulder. Very well. Let's not keep the younglings waiting any longer. Hori, are you certain you wish to fight him alone? That is Sorin you face. What better way to test my mettle? Pray allow me to attempt a first round unaided. After all, 'twas this hero's legend that led me to join the Scions to begin with. Without Sorin to inspire my efforts, I would not be half the warrior I am today. Your point is well made, but remember, this is for the children's sake as well as your own. Should it appear the contest will end too swiftly, I shall add my spells to your blade work. Hello, you haven't begun yet, have you? I believe this is... Oh, no, it's everyone. Oh, no, Fankred and Ida. Ida! What? Who are all these people? When I heard about your sparring match, I told everyone I could find. I thought you could use a crowd to cheer you on. Yes, and there are still more to come. When I mentioned Sorin's name, the reaction was quite enthusiastic. Why, my own popularity seems but a sickly shade in comparison. You'd best claim victory, Bringer of Light. Your burgeoning reputation is at stake. Well, our teacher won't be beaten so easily. He's a master swordsman. You could win, Mr. Boulder. We shall soon see. On your guard. I hope you don't mind fighting a wizard. Scholar. You doing okay there, Mr. Boulder? You can take a break if you want. Aye, the children have the right. Should have been reading that, shouldn't I? It's time I joined the fray. On your feet, Hori. Very cold now. I must admit defeat. 'Twas an honor and a privilege. You okay, Mr. Boulder? Oh no, he looks hurt. Mr. Sorin is so strong, but you can't give up, Mr. Boulder. Can't. Oh. Up for another round, are you? Hallowed ground. Mr. Boulder? Sorry, did I go overboard a bit there? Are you okay? Mr. Boulder? You have bested me. I yield. That was incredible! He beat them both at the same time! We knew you couldn't lose, Sorin. None can defeat the Guardian of Eorzea. Now I see why they send you to deal with Primals. I have much work to do if I'm ever to attempt the same. It was just a bit of a sparring match, right? Impressive as always, Sorin. It is ever a pleasure to witness the spectacle of your martial prowess. I take it that's a compliment? And judging by the smiles on these many faces, they too appreciate the hard-won strength that keeps the perils of the realm at bay. Guardian of Eorzea. Yes, that is a most fitting title. Guardian of Eorzea, eh? Do you recall when first we met? It was at the memorial service for the Battle of Cartano. At the time, I was yet attempting to understand this land of Eorzea. I sought to grasp the reason why Grandfather willingly sacrificed himself to protect it. I shall speak plainly. My initial impressions were less than favourable. Dire problems abounded, and yet the effort I saw expended towards their solution was haphazard and half-hearted. I thought Eorzeans a foolish and childish people. Considering the shambles their home was in, I would not have been surprised if some had chosen to swear allegiance to Gaius and the order he proposed to enforce. Legatus' single-minded military invasion precluded any such switching of loyalties, of course. Were it not for a desire to continue Grandfather's legacy, I would have abandoned the realm to its fate long ago. The threats were too many, the nations too self-involved and unstable. 'Twas you who convinced me the salvation of Eorzea was possible. Me? 'Twas you who taught me, through countless acts of bravery, that what my grandsire sought to preserve was not the land, nor its history, nor any single nation. It was the people, these wonderful, often infuriating, stubborn people, that suffer blow after terrible blow, only to drag themselves to their feet to face another day. Though he never put such feelings into words, I believe Grandfather's admiration for this extinguishable courage grew into a fervent wish. A wish to aid Eorzea and its inhabitants in charting a course for the future. A wish that has now become my own. I too will endeavour to take up the mantle of Guardian of Eorzea, and champion these people who toil towards a better world. Our cause, however, is not a simple one. The troubles that plague us are of a scale that cannot be solved by the science of the Seventh Dawn alone. No, what is needed to tackle the root of the primal threat, and effectively counter the schemes of the Ascian, is a new, expanded organization that operates beyond the limitations of nations and borders. If you would aid me in building such an organization, then pray let us continue this discussion back within the walls of the Rising Stones. Sounds like a plan. No, I haven't always seen eye to eye before, but I've come to accept that protecting the people of this land, that's what I'm here for. What I want to do. Oh, hello, Nam. You've joined in for the last 5 minutes. The Rising Stones. Thank you for coming, Sorin. The world shifts and alters, and we, my friend, must ever be one step ahead of the chaos. What I propose is the formation of a new organization, a group that shall pave out the way for a truly united Eorzea. Savage might. And that will, I think, be where I finish up for this stream, because it is 1 minute. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I'm only doing 3 streams a week now, so Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Just because everything going on at home and work is leaving me a bit too stressed to kind of be doing this 6 days a week like I had been doing. Yeah. I think there's only a couple of quests left in this set of patch quests. The, I think it's Defenders of Eorzea, which I'd hope to get finished up, but I can maybe... I'll probably... Yeah, I'll title the next stream for... I think there's only like 2 or 3 quests left in the patch. So the next stream on Friday will probably be titled for the next patch, and then I'll do 2 streams for that patch, because I probably won't get it all finished, especially if I've got just the tail end of defenders of Eorzea. But anyway, thanks for coming along and watching, and dropping by. So yeah, like I said, I will be back on Friday with more Sorin, and then back to Subnautica Below Zero on Saturday. Until then, hope you have a good week, and I will maybe see you in the next stream. Till then, goodbye.